And Michelle Owenby joins us for another edition of Biz Bites here on WMAY at 92.7, 94.7, and 970 AM. And boy, the big mystery question, Michelle, is when are we going to be able to finally get the restaurants opened up? The mayor seems to have a number. The county board chair is saying, I don't have a number, or date, I should say. Well, what's going to happen, do you think?
Right. I mean, I know we're all anxious for that day to come, but the mayor did make an announcement that it was going to be January 12th, which seems a little bit arbitrary. He said that was tied to the projected in-person return date for Springfield School District, although, of course, the school district has said that that's completely contingent on the metrics and how cases are looking by that point. As you know, they've missed a couple other potential reopening dates, so no guarantee that January 12th is a certainty for the school district either. So the mayor seemed to backpedal a little bit on an email to the council members the other day, saying that the city would follow the guidance of the county. And as far as the county is concerned, Chairman Andy Van Meter is saying that they are not going to try to pick an arbitrary date, but simply watch the metrics from week to week.
Yeah, this has been a really political hotbed situation, I think, especially with that rally that happened Saturday down at the Capitol with the restaurant owners wanting to get back open again. How much political stake, so to speak, do you think the two are playing in this one, by keeping the bars closed?
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, it's definitely become a political issue rather than a scientific one. Another thing the mayor mentioned was his desire to make sure that once the restaurants reopen, they stay that way. Again, I think we all understand that this yo-yo effect is very bad for businesses and, of course, the employees as well, not being able to have something to count on. But I don't know how you can guarantee that there would not be another closure, because unless you can look into the crystal ball, there's no way to predict that cases are going to go down and stay down. I mean, we certainly all hope that that's what happens, and particularly with the vaccine now on the horizon and vaccines already being distributed and underway. We hope it's a downward trend from this point on, but nobody knows for sure what the future holds.
Yeah, I was about to make that same point about the vaccine. I think a lot of this depends even more than so much the spread of the virus as it is how they can distribute out this vaccine and get it to people. Because if they can get it quickly to the people, I mean, we've been hearing April, May, but if they can bump that up to maybe March, April or something like that, yeah, you could see a significant dent. One thing that is true, the positivity rate has been cut almost 10 points in the county. I think we were up around 15, 16 at one time. We're back down to about 7, some 7, 8, somewhere in that ballpark there that we've been going from week to week. So I really think that, as we go along, I think this will be one of the situations where not only is the positivity rate going to be a factor, but the vaccine rate too, and how fast they can roll it out.
Absolutely. And, we didn't see the big spike right after Thanksgiving that they were originally talking about. We don't know whether or not that will hold true for Christmas as well. So again, still a lot of unknowns, and I think it's hard to make predictions even a couple weeks out. January 12th is really still pretty far away, and a lot can happen between now and then.
Well, Christmas came early this year for 126 businesses in the area, getting a $5,000 grant, which I know was really badly needed from a federal assistance program doled out by the city of Springfield. And this is really a big lifeline for a lot of businesses, isn't it, Michelle?
Absolutely. And, I was browsing through the list this morning. They released the names of those 126 businesses, quite a few restaurants, not surprisingly, but also a lot of small retailers and others who have been very much impacted. And I think this is one of the things that we have to chalk up to a win. My understanding was there were about 140 businesses total that applied, so not 100% were able to receive assistance, but certainly a very high number, a much higher percentage than we've seen with some of the other assistance programs at either the state or the federal level. And so this was money that the city administered the grant program, but it flowed through the Federal CARES Act and also some community development block grant funds from the state that the city received for COVID relief. So kudos to the city for getting this program pulled together and getting that money out to the small businesses that need it.
And I know, too, that it was a real stickler for some of the people that, especially the Republicans that we were talking about the fact that some of this federal money that came out during the first stimulus plan back in March wasn't getting distributed to various places in timely order. And I think that that's going to be the stipulation with this new $900 billion. And hopefully, programs like these, and again, most of this was funded from that earlier stimulus package, getting those $5,000 grants. Hopefully, with this new stimulus package, we won't have to wait about 6 months to get this money out to the badly needed businesses.
Right. Hopefully, some of that infrastructure will already be in place. And as you mentioned, there was certainly some criticism at the local level as well of how long it took to get things out there. But when you think about the fact, there has to be guidelines, there has to be a scoring system. You have to decide on the amount. Is each business going to get a flat amount? Is it going to vary? There's a lot of factors that go into play there. So if you're building something from scratch, it certainly takes a lot longer. But as you said, maybe now with some additional federal dollars flowing, some of those systems will already be in place and it'll be a little bit easier for the next go round.
No, excellent point. At least we're a little bit more seasoned and we know what to do, where we were just kind of hit with all of this at once back in March. Let's talk about Brown Hay and Stevens. It looks like they're merging with a Decatur firm.
Yes, actually, a couple of things on the horizon for 2021 that both represent expansions for existing companies. The first one you mentioned, Brown Hay and Stevens, they are the oldest law firm in Springfield, and perhaps ironically, uniquely, they are merging with the oldest law firm in Decatur, which is a firm by the name of Keyhart, Peckert, Wise, and Lewis. And so that becomes effective January 1. I had a chance to chat with Chuck Davis, who's the managing partner at Brown Hay and Stevens. He said, that their attorneys already do some business in Decatur. Of course, they do a lot of work for Memorial Health System, who also has a presence in Decatur. And so they had gotten to know the attorneys with this other firm and felt that there was some good overlap there with their practice. And so the Decatur firm is much smaller than Brown Hay and Stevens, but they are going to merge together and bring those attorneys on board after the first of the year. So we wish them well with that expansion.
As the legendary Denny Crane would have said in Boston Legal, so do all 6 names go on the door?
I don't know about that. I don't think there's any name change involved, but yes, there will be some new attorneys added to the already long roster at Brown Hay and Stevens.
All right, terrific. I know there's also the Illinois Presbyterian Home, which is doing a little bit of new construction in 2021. Tell us a little bit about that.
They are. I think everybody is familiar with that particular organization. They're at the corner of Chatham and Lawrence, kind of sit up on the hill. I did not realize they have a total of 27 acres of land there. So they are expanding onto land that they already own. They have, of course, both assisted living and independent living there. And so they are doing some new construction. They're building some cottages, which are going to be independent living, and then also a 3-story apartment building. So Windsor Homes is handling the construction for that, and Vasconcells Engineering and Cowdery Design Architecture are also involved in that project, which is scheduled to begin in the spring.
I think when you talk about the partnership of the Illinois Times Springfield Business Journal being together, probably you have to say the number one thing would be the best of Springfield that the IT does. But number 2 would be the 15 under 15 that you guys are doing. It's always such a shot in the arm for those small businesses that are 15 and under. And now's the time to do a little nominating. Tell us about the contest this year.
Yes, we are a small business ourselves. We would actually qualify for the 15 under 15 if it was possible to give ourselves an award. So we are certainly very sympathetic to small businesses that maybe don't have a big marketing budget to try to get their name out there and let everybody know what they're doing. As you said, it's a very popular program, and you can nominate somebody that you've done business with and have a lot of admiration for. If you're an employee of a business that you think deserves recognition, or the owner for that matter, you can self-nominate. We will be profiling the winners in the March issue of the Business Journal, and of course at some point to be determined, hosting a reception and awards ceremony dependent on that vaccine that we talked about earlier. But regardless, it's a great way to get some good recognition for the things that your business is doing. So people can go to springfieldbusinessjournal.com and click on the awards tab, just fill out some basic information to submit a nomination, and also see a list of previous winners if you're not sure if the company you have in mind has been recognized already.
And I can tell you, too, from firsthand that if 2021 turns out like 2020, we'll be in the running next year for 15 under 15. Anyway, Michelle, listen, happy holidays. Thank you so much for doing this, and we'll talk to you again next week, okay?
Thanks, Chris.